In this episode, we invite our guest Graham Sourtag into the Pagan Place. He's going to sing us a few tunes, talk about high school songwriting, music from our youth, and the new emotions of fatherhood. So sit back, sip your poison, and enjoy the ride. I'm Kalen Capson, and these are the Pagan Place Sessions.
It's hard to say because I remember being a kid and liking music. When I was a little kid, I liked music. It was around the house. They'd always play it at Christmas time, but I don't remember really liking music till I was probably about like 12 or 13, somewhere there. And then it became really important for me. But I think that was more like me identifying with certain bands. What I like about playing music is kind of just creating something, I guess, out of thin air. Like being able to take an instrument and make it do things and just building things out of it. That moment where you hear a new song or something like that, or someone plays something you've never heard before, and you get that kind of that wow moment, like oh, this kind of changes things now, I guess. It's like you're on this clear course that you've been on for a while, and then you hear something new. And I've been here in the wilderness of Manitoba, and I keep thinking like, oh, it's a good band. I like a lot of their songs. And then they have this one song, Big Skies, and that was like one of those moments where I was like, man, I thought I had this figured out. I thought I had these guys figured out, and this whole radio block figured out. And then I heard this song, and I was like, this just changes everything, man. Like this is different. I guess it can shift paradigms in your thinking, I guess is what I'm getting at. You watch The Simpsons. Every time you watch an old Simpsons episode, you get something new. But music, I mean, you get new things, but I feel like the relationship's so much more profound right away. Like it's so immediate, a lot of the rewards. I mean, I started playing music when I was 8. We were all singers in the same conglomerate. We were all scouted from young ages because we had the gift of pitch.
I was tall. They needed someone for the background.
Yeah, I had a round cherub face, and I was a blonde kid with a bowl cut. And I think I just fit a quota in the choir. They're like, well, we got all these brunette kids. Maybe we should get a blonde kid in there somewhere. They needed someone to sing the German Christmas hymn. That was it.
Someone to
sell
the albums.
The albums.
They needed a face.
Fill up the Imperial Theater on December 23rd. I started playing piano when I was probably about 9, and I did that till I was 16, I think. So I played piano for well over 20 years. But I mean, I didn't get into actually wanting to create my own music until I got a little bit older. And I mean, if you played like my music teacher had to find ridiculous songs to keep me interested. So it was like, today we're going to play the Imperial March because I know you like that song. You like those movies. Today we're going to play the Indiana Jones theme song because I can't get you to practice anything else. I need to find something you like. So I had a good teacher. I had a good piano teacher. But when I started writing songs, I was in high school, and I was probably about 15, which is the worst. 15-year-olds are just, as far as their emotions and the way their brains work, you get ridiculous things. And it's funny, I was actually talking to a student of mine at school. He asked me if I had been in a band before, and I said, oh, well, I've been playing in bands since I was in high school. He said, did you ever write your own songs? And I could remember one song that I wrote a long time ago, and it's awful. And I played it in its entirety for them because it was the first time I played it probably in 10 years. And these kids were just like blown away. A, that I could just pull this song out of nowhere, and B, just the stupidity that was coming out of my mouth. And I was like, no, you don't get it. Like, at the time, this was a scathing indictment of, what society was like, and, how we do just stupid things, and we watch TV all day and blah, blah, blah. And I just wrote about dumb stuff, man. Like, so I've matured a bit. Like, for one thing, I can't write lyrics to save my life. Like, I have an English degree. On paper, I should be able to write lyrics, and I should understand. I know what good lyrics are, but I can't think of them for the life of me. Like, it's just playing music. I kind of feel like I'm in the state of arrested development. Like, I'm 32 now. I feel like musically, I'm maybe about a 15-year-old again. Like, I just kind of, as far as my songwriting goes, it's still at that kind of real infancy stage. I don't do it often enough that I feel confident in it, but I feel like I am kind of progressing a little bit.
What do you think is a driving force in you for music? Because you have a huge repertoire.
I'd say boredom. I get bored really easily. I got bored playing the piano. I mean, I started playing guitar because my band in high school broke up. I was a singer originally. I didn't play guitar until I was probably about 17. And I bought one because I had this momentum from writing songs and I wanted to keep doing it. And then I hit this crazy hurdle where I didn't know how to play guitar. I wanted to keep writing songs, but I had to learn how to play the guitar first. So it was like, I don't know, I feel like it took me about 5 or 6 years to get okay enough at the guitar that I could write songs. And by that point I was like, well, I just like playing the guitar, like I just enjoy it. I guess, like, as far as my drive goes right now, I try to think about the students that I work with, kind of think about, what they're exposed to and what kind of instruments they have around them, and I guess try to get them as interested in music as I am. And really, I don't have much time to play or listen to new things anymore, but when I do teach and work with kids, I kind of have to push myself a little bit and think, oh yeah, that's right, I play this instrument, I play a couple of instruments, that's something of value that I can pass on to other people, like to have them see how valuable it is, I guess. I don't know, what drives you, man? Like, come on, drive? I don't know, I was bored, I was bad at stuff because I was awful for years. I was terrible. I guess I wanted to be kind of self-sufficient, be able to write songs and play my own music and have my own voice, be kind of like some of my idols, but
there's nothing good on TV, but I don't have time to blink. They've televised the dripping of a rusted kitchen sink. No bachelor with a rose, no stoic lifeguard pose. Just 20 seconds, better hurry, 'cause the factory's gonna close. I could head on over to cable, try to find some substance there, but that's a big commitment and I've got no time to spare. Just let them try to sell me something, I'm not some stupid sheep. I'm just killing time before I have to drag my ass to sleep. There's nothing good on TV, I'm picking at my nose. The wife is right beside me, painting colors on her toes. And if she were to tell me, pick a dusty rose, I wouldn't have the slightest clue, 'cause it's Sunday HBO. There's nothing good on TV, now it's 2 a.m. I'm walking Walker, Texas Ranger, selling in-home gyms. My alarm goes off at 6 a.m. The house will soon be up. They'll find me passed out in my nose, first in some shitty coffee cup. There's nothing good on TV. This last time I will say, I'd dump the TV at the curb if I could find a way to turn it off and go outside. Would that be so wrong? I'd really like to think it through, but my show just came back on.
very true to life.
Yeah, it's kind of
song is somewhere we've all been, I think.
Stupid song. Well, that was you asked for two originals and a cover, and I had one original pretty much shored up. I kind of thought for sure I was going to be playing, and I ended up playing neither of them. The cover I knew from the start what I was going to play, but when it came time for two originals, I kind of sat down. Well, I sat down months ago because that's when you asked me to do it. I'm only getting to it now, but I kind of wrote out a bunch of lyrics and I recorded a couple guitar parts, but I kind of threw them out the window. And it was literally like I just picked up the guitar and it just took shape right away. But that song was just kind of my wife and I were watching. This is embarrassing. We were watching Bachelor in Paradise last summer. And I remember I was in this kick where I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep my book by my bedside table, and every night before I go to bed, I'm going to take half an hour and I'm going to write something. And it's going to be, and that was my grand idea was I was going to write some big song progression. It was going to be like, 2 weeks I was going to do it, and then I'd have like 14 songs, something stupid like that. And I lasted 2 nights, like 1.5 really. And Nothing Good on TV was the first one I wrote, and it was basically every dumb thing I could think of that I watched or that I talked to people about watching was what that turned into. So it was like The Bachelor. It was like, the Home and Garden channel, which was always on at my parents' house. And then the song kind of turned into being kind of critical of it. And then as you progress, it's like, well, I'm hooked on these things now. I can't stop watching. What was life like without these shows before? Like when we watched The Bachelor show, I got to the end and I was like, man, that was crazy. And I thought, what did I just waste 2 weeks of my life watching? Like, what was life like before that? How did I think? I think differently now. That's sad. It's like, you could be the most enlightened person in the world and watch the stupidest TV, get completely hooked on it, and you turn into an idiot. And when it's done, you're like, you go into withdrawal. You're like, this is why these networks make money, is because people are just watching these shows, getting hooked, and then they just can't live without them afterwards. I just thought, like, take that to the extreme, And I've been there before. That's where that song came from. It was just basically thought about those old Subterranean Homesick Blues, that like Bob Dylan song. And I thought, like, just something quick, punchy. There's no chorus. It's just all lyrics. It's all just verses all the way through, and just stream. I was going for Shel Silverstein. I'll be honest. Like, I think I was on a big Shel Silverstein kick, and I was trying to do something that was simple in its delivery, and that would translate well to like an old like boxcar song. That's basically the song.
Of course, your cover. What spurred that on? Was it picked for a reason, or was it something you just knew you could do well, or?
It wasn't something I knew I could do. I can play a lot of songs better than that. That's been one of my favorite songs since I was a little kid.
Oh yeah.
I first heard that song on one of those god awful teen bop cassettes that they put out in the 80s. You remember those? And it'd be like, they do Wake Me Up Before You Go, and it was all kids singing it.
Yep.
Well, I just remember, like, it was a bunch of kids singing Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and I was obsessed with the song. And I only heard it in the little teeny bop cassette. And every time I heard it on the radio, I'd freak out because it was a song that I knew. So I've loved it ever since. And then, I got older. I saw the music video and everything. I was like, geez, like, that's what those guys look like. But then I actually listened to Songs from the Big Chair, and it's just a brilliant album. Like, it's so good, and the songs are just so resonant. Like, and like kids still listen to them, but it's just I don't know what it is about that song. I just love it so much, and every time I hear it, I think it's one of the songs. I mean, and it's on my stupid little playlists on my iPod and everything. But whenever I hear it, I never skip it. It's just, I'm always in the mood to hear it. I could probably listen to it every day.
it's my own remorse. Help me to decide. Help me make the most of freedom and of pleasure. Nothing ever lasts forever. Everybody wants to rule the world. There's a room where the light won't find you. Holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. When they do, I'll be right behind you. So glad you almost made it. So sad they had to fade it. Everybody wants to rule the world. I can't stand this indecision, married with the lack of vision. Everybody wants to rule the. Say that you'll never, 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 never leave it. What if thy life will lead it? Everybody wants to rule the world.
That one, I guess that one's kind of multi. It's got a few different angles you can take on it. It's just kind of. Well, I wrote it today. I'll be honest. I wrote it today. But I was telling Frank, like it mainly came out of just frustration because I have a 1-year-old at home, and she's teething right now, and she freaks out constantly. And that started with I put her down for a nap. I walked out the door, and she was like, right away. And I was literally outside the door, like, I'm right here. Like, to be honest, like, why are you freaking out? I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. And it was just that weird, like, stressful parent attitude you have,
Yeah.
where you're like, why are you acting like this? And it turned into, well, I thought about, the day she was born and everything, and it was like that moment where you think, well, I'm not the most important person in my world anymore, I've got to actually be, kind of a guide to a little person now. And it kind of came out of that. I don't know, it can be kind of like, I guess, if you have anybody, I guess, in your life, I think about my wife too, it could be like when something new enters your sphere, and it's important to you, you have to be that, you have to kind of support that person, or that thing, and make sure that they're not, completely drifting off on their own. If they need you, you're there for them.
Makes absolute sense to me.
Yeah.
But, as a parent, I guess as anybody that you love, like you said, you want to guide them. Makes
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I get you. Man. I feel it.
I don't know. I kind of want to call you up, man. I think this is a cool thing you're doing. I implore anybody else, any talented people in town, to do this. I personally, don't really see myself as a songwriter very much. I kind of see myself as more of a, musician. I like to jump in on other people's stuff and kind of, I'm like a barnacle, I just kind of like to latch on and add my little thing to it. But no, it was cool, man. You had me kind of thinking with a different part of my brain, which is always appreciated. I just tell people, if you're unsure of your abilities or what you're writing about or what you're singing about or playing about. I mean, you just have to keep doing it, really. And it might be bad. It'll probably be bad for a long time. I still think a lot of it's bad myself, but it gets better. Like, I thought I was a bad guitar player for a long time, and I feel like I'm a fair guitar player now. And I mean, that's a bit of a shift from bad to fair, but it's significant. I don't know, just listen to music, play music, surround yourself with music, and life's pretty rad. Like, it's a pretty good time.
1, 2, 3, 4. Flesh and blood are fragile, and we are just little lights, but we burn bright together in the stillness of night. If the road is long, just take my hand. If the water's dark and cold, I'll bring you back to land. And if the water's dark and